Hi, everybody. So great to have you back here. I have Sabrina Abraham. She is the founder of Clarity Canvas Co. Sabrina, thank you so much for joining me. So excited to
Thank you for
have
having me.
you. Yes. So I always like to start with a little bit of how we met, which I know we've talked about in the past, but for those that don't know, I think it's such a good example of being in the right time, the right place. Putting the energy out there, I think, is also a big one. We met at the 40 Under 40 gala. You were sitting at the Telfer table, and I guess we just sort of connected that you're a coach, I'm a coach, and we've hit it off since. So we go for our monthly coffees, and it's been an amazing connection. I'm so grateful to have you in my life and to have you here today. To get us started, I figured I'd let you tell everybody a little bit about what you're doing and what is Clarity Canvas.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this. So, what Clarity Canvas? Let me get you to how I got here first. I've been in leadership coaching since about 2022. So, a few years now. My background is change management and communications. And so, what kind of got me to it was I had been in a leadership role. I got completely burnt out. It was just in the midst of COVID. I had two small kids. So I took a full reset and absence from work for a few months. And then during that time, I did a ton of reflecting around what brings me joy, what brings me energy, what do I enjoy. Truly, the part that I loved was the leadership component of things, where I loved connecting with others. I loved finding ways to help grow people and develop them and just understand human behavior. I think that's a real interest of mine. So I went into leadership coaching, like a training program. And at the time, it was more because I thought, well, I'll just enhance my leadership skills and like come back with, feeling stronger and better about myself and how I'm going to lead others. Through this 9-month program, it fully shifted my entire perspective, both on how I see myself, but how I relate to others. And I would say, like, I almost exploded in inspiration and being like, this is actually what I want to do. I want to coach people one-on-one. So I dovetailed into university, into the executive education wing at Telfer. I was doing business development at the time to better learn the space, expose myself to leadership challenges. Through there, I decided to develop Clarity Canvas Co. So the idea behind Clarity Canvas is that coaching allows you to take that space and time to slow things down, think things through, and reflect. It's only through that, when you can cancel out some of the noise, that you can gain clarity. My idea is that life is a canvas. It comes from a space of like, also, I just love the arts, and I love to paint, and I love to write, and I love poetry. So it's just this idea of like, you can gain clarity on your canvas and you can design that canvas as you wish. So that's how that all came about. And so I left my role at the university at the end of August to do this now full time, and best decision I feel I've made so far. Yeah.
Well, I love that. I'm a big fan of yours. And I didn't know the whole explanation behind your name. So that makes a lot of sense. I love that. So, in terms of entrepreneurship, you jumped in, you're doing this full time. Is it what you imagined, or is it totally different from what you expected it to be?
I mean, it's like a mixed answer. I would say there's parts that I was like, yeah, okay, what I was expecting. A lot of other areas where I'm like, oh, right, I didn't see that coming. One of the things I've been saying to people is I didn't realize how when you leave a full-time job in a corporate environment, you leave behind a team, right? There's always people around you, always contacting. And I'm someone who really gets energized by that. And so one of the first things I really realized, like, oh my God, this could feel really lonely. It's just me in the house and then trying to do every function, right? Like, I don't have someone doing operations and finance and admin and marketing. I'm literally every person.
That's right.
So that was a bit of a like, right. I kind of knew that going in, but I don't think I really knew what that actually translated into in terms of effort and time and energy until I got into it. I've also now found workarounds, and I found that I'm way more capable than I thought I was. I'm forced to put in structure. I'm forced to learn IT things. Like, it's been a really humbling experience, but also one that tests my own capability and the things that I'm coaching on. Okay, can you do it? Because that voice is always in there being like, maybe this is too much. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you should take a step back. But then it's like, no. And every time I hit another milestone, I'm like, okay, I did it. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
So much to be proud of in the short few months that you started on this journey. And even your social media game. Again, I'm a big fan of yours. You're really stepping it up. There's so much good content coming out of it. I know there's a lot of discomfort for a lot of people to be doing that, but it doesn't seem like that in any way, shape, or form. Kudos to you for really taking that on. A lot of people are afraid to put themselves out there, and you really have. As a coach, I'm cheering for you on this side and so excited every time you post something. I talk to so many people. These are the things that you need to be doing. They're like, yeah, I hear you, but you're doing what you need to be doing to grow your business and get people to know who you are. Give yourself a pat on the back for all the stuff that you are working towards. It's not easy.
Can I add to that? That is one thing that really surprised me, or maybe I didn't quite plan for. But this idea of being seen, that is the big thing with social media. I was resisting it too at first. I was like, no, I've got other ways that I can communicate with people. I'll meet people with coffee. And then I was like, wait, that's really not going to work in today's world. I need to put myself out there. And I had to find a way that made me comfortable, right? So I didn't spend time studying algorithms and what's the best way to post, because that overwhelmed me. I needed to do it my way. And so my way was sharing stories, right? And I like to write. So I was like, I'm just going to share personal stories and make that a regular thing that I do. Shayna, you've inspired me a lot in this space, let me tell you. It's feeling seen, like, and having the light on you is really uncomfortable. It makes me think of when I got married, because everyone's staring at you and the event is surrounded around you and your partner. It's like that every day. I'm putting myself out there again and saying that I'm worth your time or you reading what I have to say and engage with me. It puts things into question in terms of your own beliefs around yourself and your credibility. There's a lot of imposter syndrome, stories that are coming up in my head around like, no one wants to read this, no one cares. But then sure enough, I'll get a message. I'll get a new contact that reaches out and says, this really resonated. I'm like, okay. So I think that's the other thing with social media. You can so easily get bogged down by impressions and engagements and analytics. So that's another thing that I'm actively trying not to focus on. You could easily get discouraged when a post flops, know?
Well, and that's it. And I think we've talked about this is like, you think that there's like, okay, I got 1 like, 2 likes, and then there's like whatever, a few hundred impressions or whatever that looks like. And you're like, okay, nobody's really seeing my stuff. And then you walk into rooms and people are acknowledging all the stuff that you're doing. And for me, it's happening literally in every social setting, whether it's my mom's friends or people that I like really respect in the business world, just commenting about what I've been doing. And I'm like, you're seeing this? You've been following? And I don't know because they're more silent. And I'm like, don't forget to like and share. But they're not comfortable with that. And I get it. A lot of us don't do that for a lot of other people in our lives. But being seen. And I think that is just something that we need to keep reminding ourselves. The more you post, the more you're putting yourself out there, the more people are seeing you, what you're doing, what your offer is. And like you said, don't be discouraged by the numbers. Obviously, from a KPI perspective and metrics, for people like us, we like to track these things and seeing month over month growth or not. At the end of the day, it's still being seen and looking at stuff that is trending or doing better and be like, okay, what kind of content do I create that's similar to that did really well last time? So there's still ways around it. Not getting bogged down in it is huge. You have so many other pieces going on. This is just this marketing hat on the side of your desk. This is a full-time job, and it's like multiple full-time jobs, from the graphics, the videos, all the other pieces that go into it.
100%.
So I agree with everything that you're saying on that. In terms of teaching moments, so like we talked about all the pieces that you're doing, is there anything that you've had these moments that are like really big lessons that you've learned as a business owner or for yourself?
Yeah. There was one really recently. I went to a dinner with a bunch of entrepreneurs and they've been doing this for a lot longer than I have. And So I was sitting around the table feeling like a bit of an imposter, being like, do I belong here? These people know what they're talking about. They've been doing this for a lot longer. But one of the things I really took away from this group, and even though I've known this and I was working in exec ed, I've been in the business world, I know this to be true. So hard to apply it to yourself. But this idea of go out to market, you don't need to perfect things before you go. You can build the plane as you're flying it. I was inspired during this conversation, and what I took away was I'm sitting on all kinds of knowledge and things I want to share and things I could be reaching people with beyond social media and really activate people in workshops. So I decided to launch a workshop. I gave myself literally 9 days from the day I put it out to market to the day it was going to be delivered, December 1st to December 3rd, on imposter syndrome, because it's something that I've been working on my entire life and really digging into. I put it out and I was building it as I was going. I sold out, which was fantastic, more than I could have expected. I focused so much on building the content for the workshop that I actually forgot about other things that were surfacing throughout. So I was like, when someone pays, how do they get a receipt? Are they getting a receipt? And then it was like, now that they've signed up for a workshop, there should probably be a Zoom link that's sent to them, so like all these, but it was okay. People are so gracious with their time and understanding. Honestly, people don't expect what you think they expect. Everything got to them on time. Everything worked out in the end. Sure, there are things I can improve next time, but the core lesson here was you don't need to wait for everything to be perfected. You can actually hit send and go. And I think the biggest thing was putting a deadline to it, right? So that's why I was like, I'm going out on December 1st and the workshop's going to happen on December 10th, no matter what, right? So
again, so proud of you for doing that, jumping in, and that vulnerability piece, I think, is huge, from even just the human element of who we are, what we're doing. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to have things perfect. And this is every profession, every human that exists. I think that there's so much power in vulnerability and even just like making fun of yourself in a fun, playful way, because people also really connect to that. So even if your workshop and a link wasn't working or your PowerPoint wasn't working, just like making light of whatever that sort of looks like. And I think people really connect with you even more when things aren't perfect. People see themselves a lot more and be like, oh, she also has issues with not sending a link out on time or whatever that looked like. So that ability to turn off that switch in our head that everything needs to be perfect. Talk about vulnerability. Like I've talked about doing a workshop for the last, I don't know, we've probably talked about it a few times. And I'm like, okay, December 1st. Okay, I'm going to move it another week. Now I'm like, I have it booked in January and I haven't even talked about it. So it's like just doing it. Rip that Band-Aid off. You know what you're doing, making sure that you're following through. And again, like from a business perspective, just do it. Just like try, see what happens. And you sold out. It's amazing. Again, so happy for you that you're doing that. But on the other side, for a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of things that people don't see. There's the 2 a.m.s that you're lying there stressing, thinking like, what have I not done? Did I forget to respond? What are you finding that's helping you find that reset when things are getting heavier? Or is there people around you that you're leaning on to support you through it?
Yeah, I think for me, it really is building my support system. So when I talked about losing a team and leaving corporate to kind of being on my own, it was really recreating that team environment for me. So again, you being one of them, but I've created a little bit of a system with people that are off on their own doing similar things, some that are far more advanced in this space than I have. They've been doing this for 20 some years. Some of them are acting as kind of a mentor role. Some are acting as peers that are in the same space, that are supporting me. But I have regular calls or coffee chats in my calendar for these reasons, because it allows me to feel like, okay, I can troubleshoot. I can ask, is this normal? What should I do? Like having a sounding board is really important. But the other thing that I have been really intentional about on days when I'm just like feeling burnt out, to literally just take the day, right? Like I don't force it. I'm not trying to cram in extra work when I'm just not feeling it. So I'm really trying to be intentional with what feels balanced to me, what feels good, and what I need in that moment. So whether it's time away from my desk, whether it's getting in touch with somebody that's either a mentor or in my space but can help me troubleshoot, I think has been really helpful.
Yeah, I agree. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people, and even in
Yeah.
our conversations, you share information and tips that you're learning from other people. It's just like this collaboration. Because I miss that team environment. You go from working with so many people to be like, I'm sitting here in my office talking to a screen and having people to bounce ideas off of and just lean on the harder days, or even just when a brainstorm, and just that collaboration is huge. I definitely see the importance of that. I'm trying to do more of that, and even through these video casts, connecting other people with other people in the space, not just coaches, but entrepreneurs. This is why I say for business coaching, I help so many different people in different businesses, because at the end of the day, it's a business, and there's still so many things that are the same that need to happen. That's why I can work in different areas and support different businesses as a whole. But again, I find in the coaching world, and I learned from you a lot and things that I should be doing. And the imposter syndrome, we've talked about that. For me, it's like all the experience and the education. It's like now I need to show up with these things and make sure that I'm doing things the best way that I can based on what I have. So truly appreciate you and all the wisdom that you've come with as well.
I like your point about branching into working with other entrepreneurs that maybe aren't in your space. To your point, you learn so much from different people. Like I had one of the best conversations about business and entrepreneurship from my facialist while getting a facial. You can find it anywhere if you just get curious. And again, that vulnerability piece of being like, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like, am I doing this right? And allowing people to share and feed off of that. I would say one more thing on this is that piece around taking a pause and kind of stepping away from your computer. I think sometimes we have to redefine what being productive is, because for me, sometimes the best thoughts and ideas have come from me being away from my desk, right? Like me taking a walk, writing, doing something artistic, doing these activities gets you in a different flow that allows you to open up to other ideas.
Oh, yeah. In terms of entrepreneurship and like how it's changed you personally, I find that business growth often mirrors your own personal growth. So how has that shown up for you over the last few months as you were growing this business?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say it really has reshaped my relationship with how I see myself and how I handle visibility. Visibility has been my biggest thing. I didn't even realize that was a thing. I'm so used to marketing other organizations, businesses that I've worked for, but to market yourself really tapped into some of my own vulnerabilities and fears, like real fears around what are people going to think of me? Am I credible enough? Do I have enough experience? Maybe I should read more. Maybe I should get more certification. I'm constantly driven and to do more and prove myself more. But ultimately, it's like I'm fighting against myself in almost all of these inner conversations.
Yeah.
I'd say that is my biggest growth point, being able to be like, okay, I see the feeling, I know it's existing, but I'm going to move forward anyway. I'm not going to allow this to stop me like it has in the past. Also, because I don't have time to allow it to stop me. I actually have to grow a business here. I'm not getting money elsewhere, and I want to have impact and see my vision come true. So being able to hear the voice, but also being able to be like, okay, not now. I don't need you right now. Silencing that enough to keep moving forward and not be stumped by fear. Fear is so deeply rooted in so much of my decision making.
Yeah.
Right?
Speaking of impact, for those that don't know, how does your business make a difference for your clients?
Really good question. So I would say my biggest mission statement and what got me into this space in the first place is I don't want people to feel alone. That is ultimately the feeling I want people to walk away with. You are not alone in your stories, in your feelings, in your experiences, but especially around leadership, because we are in this workspace all the time. We're working all the time. We're in North America. The way our industries have evolved, it's like we're constantly working, right? And whether you're in a formal leadership role or not, we're constantly groomed to want more, grow, be more ambitious, get a higher salary, and level up. There's so much in that that is hard, honestly, really challenging and draining and exhausting. I feel like people feel alone in a lot of those feelings, like they're the only ones experiencing it, seems to know what they're doing and are doing it with a breeze, when ultimately I know just through coaching, but also through leading people, that that's not the truth. The truth is we're all humans. We're all experiencing the same thing. The one-on-one coaching allows people to feel in a very confidential, private space that they could kind of unpack things with someone and feel seen. Even greater, I really experienced in this recent workshop that I delivered, is when you're in a group setting and being able to do that and starting to be like, whoa, I'm not alone. There's people everywhere at different levels of seniority and experience and backgrounds that all feel the same, and culturally too, right? That's the impact I hope to leave people with, is that they are not alone in their feelings, that these are really human experiences and there's ways to get past it. Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It hits home for me because I know like as I was growing as a leader in different areas, I'd be speaking to the people that were higher up. And I was like, well, how do you know you're making the right decision? How do you know? Like I'm always like asking the how do you know? Because of, especially if we're giving advice to a client or patients, how do you know that's the right answer? It's sort of similar to parenting. There's not a playbook for how to do things properly. Everybody's learning on the go and you learn from experience. It's the same in business. Everybody's just learning. I don't like to say fake it till you make it, but it's like a lot of people feel like that's the world. They're put into a position, they're learning these skills, they're learning how to do better and best support their staff, clients, the business, all the different pieces. It's a reminder that we're all going through it. It's great that they have people like you that they can lean on and speak to and feel comfortable about what they're struggling with and how to gain more confidence in their role in life. I'm realizing that the more vulnerable I've been with people, the more they're sharing with me. So just to end us on a high note, anything new and exciting that lights you up and you're looking forward to that you're willing to share with us?
Yeah, this will be the first place I share this with. So I'm really excited about it. I have partnered with another wonderful coach and leadership facilitator and academic. She owns a company called Illumin based out of Texas, but we have partnered to design a 8-week program on overcoming and quieting imposter feelings. I'm really excited about this. We're planning to launch it in the springtime of this year. We're also looking at building a very experiential component that will include travel and adventure. It brings together all the things that I love: connection, coaching, good conversations, inner reflection. I'm really excited about that. So that's coming up.
Well, keep me posted. Either I want to join or if you need a coach, I'm always here. I love to travel. Just kidding. Very exciting for you and I hope it goes very well. I'm sure I'll see lots of it online. Make sure you guys are following Sabrina. How can people get a hold of you?
You could either go to my website, claritycanvasco.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn under my name, Sabrina Abraham, or on Instagram. My handle is unstuckwith_us.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with everyone today and your time. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.